Halloween, boys and girls, I have another fun Halloween story for you. And this story is called The Legend of Spooky, the Square Pumpkin. And he is so cute. Look at him. And this is written by Joe Triano and illustrated by Susan Banta. So I thought you'd enjoy this story. It uses some of the shapes that we've been talking about are in the story. So it's a good time to use what we've been learning about shapes and have a fun time reading a Halloween story. The Legend of Spooky, the Square Pumpkin. He does look like a square, doesn't he? One day in the pumpkin patch, the strangest little pumpkin hatched. Spookley wasn't like his friends, where they had curves. He had ends. So here are his friends, and there's Spookley. Spookley was different. He was odd. He was rare. Spookley, the pumpkin, wasn't round. He was square. Did you hear a rhyme there? He was rare and square. They both end in air. While the round pumpkins had fun rolling along, poor Spookley sat there all shaped wrong. He tried and tried with all his might, but he couldn't budge, so he just sat tight. The other pumpkins teased him because he was square. Spookley wished he was round and he could roll everywhere. Yeah, round things can roll, can't they? But he can't roll. That is until one night when they all discovered it's fine to be round when the weather is fair, but there are times it's better to be a square. I wonder what's going to happen. Halloween was just a day away when a mighty storm blew across the bay. It tossed the round pumpkins to and fro. It snapped their vines and then off they'd go, bouncing left, slamming right, banging, bashing. What a sight. Oh my goodness, the round pumpkins are rolling all over the place, aren't they? Spookley sat there filled with fright. Fright means he was really scared, but glad to be square that night. Yeah, he can't go rolling around because he's square. Look at the clouds and the lightning and the storm. Must have been a pretty bad storm. Oh, look. They're right by the base, so there's big waves coming up to the pumpkin patch, and some pumpkins are going to fall in the water. Suddenly, the fence gave way. 3 pumpkins rolled out into the bay. Here they are. You can see all 3 of them. 1, 2, and here's the other one, 3. They went out into the bay, into the water, floating around. Spookley knew what must be done. It was up to him. He was the one. He teetered, he tottered, he tipped, and he tried. And finally flipped. He was on his side. Oh my goodness, what is he going to do? He's on his side. And again he tipped, and again he flopped, and again he flipped, and then what is Spookley doing? Here's a picture. Look at the fence. Can you see the fence, how it's broken right here? He put himself in front of the hole, didn't he? He stopped right in the gap where the fence had snapped. He blocked the way. The hole was capped. All the pumpkins shouted, "Hooray! Spookley the Square Pumpkin has saved the day." Then a pumpkin hit him with a whack. He thought his shell would start to crack. And then another one hit him with a thump and another one with a smack. So they're getting blown into him. He's trying to block that hole so they can't go into the water. But they're all kind of landing on him, aren't they? Then one by one, a ton of pumpkins piled on the stack with a bang and a bash and a crunch and a crash, and then it all went black. He was on the very bottom. I guess you can't even see Spookley anymore. Can you see him under there anywhere? Is that him down here? He can't even see us, can he? At dawn, when the storm had stopped, the farmer came out and checked his crop. He picked his pumpkins up one by one, and he laid them out in the warm, dry sun. And when the last one was moved away, the farmer could see who had saved the day. An odd-shaped pumpkin, short and dense, was wedged against the broken fence. There he is. See? he filled in the hole so they couldn't roll out. Its shell was bruised, its stem was too, but there was brave little Spookley, sitting straight and strong and true. Right then and there the farmer knew, of all the seeds he'd ever sown, Spookley's were the most special that he'd ever grown. And the next year, when it was time to sow, he sowed the seeds in every row. He watered and weeded and watched them grow. And oh, that morning, about mid-June, when the pumpkin patch began to bloom, there were tiny pumpkins everywhere, hundreds and hundreds, and most of them were square. Look at all that. He took all Spookley's pumpkin seeds and planted them everywhere. Can you see all the square pumpkins in the pumpkin patch? But, oh, look at this. Some were cubes and some were rectangular. Some were flat and others triangular. So let's look here. Can you see? Here's a cube. Oh, here's some rectangular pumpkins. Do you see the triangular ones? They almost look like pyramids a little bit if they came to one point. Yeah. There was a bed of bright red ones and 2 rows of blue. There were polka dot pumpkins and rainbow ones too. Oh, I would want the rainbow one. Look at that. There were thousands of colors and hundreds of shapes. Oh, what a garden variety makes. Look at all those. So he has red and blue and rainbow and polka dot. Wouldn't those be fun pumpkins to have? Now, every year on Halloween, Spookley's patch is quite a scene. People come from far and near to see what wonders grew that year. Look at this little guy. He's getting a little square one, a little cube. They stop and gawk and gaze and stare, and then they pick a pumpkin that's round, triangular, or perfectly square. Look at all the different shapes. Now you know the story of how Spookley grew. Maybe someday you'll tell someone too, and they'll go tell someone who will tell another, and maybe one day we'll all discover you can't judge a book or a pumpkin by its cover. Look at all the shapes. So we have round and square and triangular and rectangular, ovals. Here's a cube. So all those fun shapes. So Spookley kind of saved the day. During the bad storm, he blocked the hole in the gate so the other pumpkins couldn't roll out into the water and float away, and he saved them. And the farmer realized Spookley was a pretty special pumpkin, and he saved all of Spookley's pumpkin seeds and planted them the next year, and then he had the most amazing pumpkins ever. So today, when you do your grid, I want you to get out some really special paper, and I want you to draw me some pretty incredible pumpkins. I want to see rainbow ones and square ones and rectangular ones and triangular pumpkins and whatever else you think could grow in Spookley's garden. Maybe even the polka dot ones. All different colors. So have a lot of fun. Draw a big pumpkin patch full of all different kinds of Spookley pumpkins. Okay? And then write a couple sentences telling me if you were there, which one you would pick. Maybe you could circle that one and tell us what your favorite pumpkin was out of your whole pumpkin patch that you drew. You might even need some help. Maybe your brother or sister or mommy or daddy could help you draw some pumpkins for your pumpkin patch too. Okay? All right. Thanks for being great listeners, you guys, and happy Halloween.